The title of the exhibition is The Angle of Repose, which is a technical term for the angle at which a granular material comes to rest, a material like sand or gravel. And the finer the material, the more of a point that it's able to make, and the coarser the material, the less fine, right? This relates to many of the works that I've been creating with sand. The angle of repose is also, repose is as at rest, an object at rest, or a person in repose. Many of the works in the exhibition convey this idea of something at rest. There's another work which is a large-scale hourglass. At either end of the hourglass is an object made of crystal, of geological material. But the object, in this case, is two cameras. And as you turn the hourglass, one object is uncovered and the other one begins a process of burial. The sand that also falls over them forms the same angle of repose as the piles of sand that are in the room. Even from the street, you'll be able to see this large-scale moon sculpture. They're an invented moon of a potential exoplanet, right? An Earth-like planet in a distant solar system. Upon entering the gallery, on the left side, you will see a large-scale cast, soft bear, like a child's toy, blown up in scale, but appearing to have these erosions within it. The piece is made of crushed crystal, and there are areas where the crystal has fallen away to reveal these large crystal growths within it. And many of these objects, although they appear as if they're in a state of decay, they are made of a material, crystal, that we associate with growth and kind of entropy, right? So I think there's a tension in the work where we don't know if the object is falling apart or if it's actually growing back together to a kind of finality. And as you move through the space, you find a number of paintings, shallow relief sculptures actually, which are made of fixed sand. Over the past year, I've made a couple different installations that base themselves on Japanese gardens. And the pattern in the sand was borrowed from patterns that I've witnessed in Kyoto, in Japan. But the sand has been replaced with a granulated color crystal. When a rake is pulled across this sand, this is what forms the pattern. The paintings are permanent, they're unchanging. But the gardens, even though they appear the same every day, they're actually reconstructed each morning. This unchanging pattern is something that is both permanent and ephemeral at the same time. And the gravity has also been shifted, right? The pattern in the sand of the gardens outside is achievable because it's using gravity. These have been brought to a vertical plane. There are also two lunar cycles of these exoplanet moons, which begin with a moon that is full, and the moon is either rotating or it's actually the pattern of light. There's been a lot of discussion about this in press and articles on the work, but I'm colorblind as well. The areas in which I have the most difficulty with seeing color is actually in shadow. And in this case, I've replaced the shadow with color itself, with a bright, vibrant tone of actually pure pigment that is rendered across the form. When you turn left, the first room that you encounter is a series of mounds of sand that form a gradient of pattern from a very vibrant pink to white. And at the back wall, there is text which appears to be emerging from the surface of the architecture that says time, disrupting the surface and feels really like it's integrated into the building itself. The sand has two small sculptures that are placed within it of these childhood toys as well, these soft toys which are actually hard and rendered of crystal. There's something playful about the installation. It's very bright, yet there is a kind of darkness in the decay of these objects related with kind of innocence and childhood. And the gradient of color is the same gradient that's used in the pink moons, right? This wash of color that appears to move across the space. And in the last room is the hourglass, which I described before as this kind of cyclical archaeology. An object is buried, it's then uncovered and reburied again continually in an encapsulation which is something that is obviously related with time, the hourglass. For the last number of years, I've been making these kind of fictional archaeological works. These for me are present-day objects or things from our lifetime, let's say, that appear as if they have been uncovered on some future archaeological site. They're not the original object painted to look old, like a kind of trompe l'oeil effect. They're actually made of materials that we associate with geological time frame, thousands of years, right? So there's a kind of truth about them. In looking at them, they feel actually like these objects were from the past. And I think there can be something kind of profound and disturbing and uncanny about witnessing something from your own life as if you could see it thousands of years from now, with the perspective of time. It's transforming something that you already feel like you know and you kind of own. You have a sense about it. And when those things are disrupted, it's a ripple, right, in your reality. And I think in that way, the work is sort of egalitarian. It crosses a wide swath of culture.